Hey guys, my name's Rain, and welcome back to week 2 of my PuG curve series, where I attempt to get a fresh character with no achievements or gear to ahead of the curve. This week I tried to keep true to a small number of hours played, just like a casual gamer would. I discovered that most of WoW was just waiting for queues, no surprises there, but I didn't get insulted in Hungarian this time, which is a plus. If you enjoy this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or a comment, and let's get into it. So as with any good reset day, I started off by heading to the Great Vault. I'd only done looking for raid and hadn't done much Mythic Plus, so I wasn't expecting much. What you should do every time you're picking from your vault is to run your character through Raidbot's top gear function in order to find out which one's the best for you and which will give you the biggest DPS upgrade. To do this, you need the Simulation Craft add-on installed. Type in /simc into your chat and copy all the information that comes up. Then go to raidbots.com, click top gear, paste all the information into this box. This will load all your gear currently equipped. You'll have an option that will be here that will say select all items from Great Vault. You scroll down, make sure you've got any potential rings or trinkets selected. Make sure you've got enchants for each slot. You've got the right talent build on, and then you can run your simulation based off this default. Make sure you got the nightly version checked. Patchwork, one boss, 5 minutes, that's like an average, and then you press find top gear. And once your report is run, this is pretty much what you'll get. It'll tell you what your top gear is. For me, it says my currently equipped gear is top gear for my priest, and I'll give you a breakdown of what the DPS increase or decrease is. So if I went to these gloves, I'd lose 12 DPS. If I had this ring on, I'd lose 13. But it's really good for checking your talent builds, conduits, and Great Vault. These are all kind of bad. I've already got the neck. The ring's kind of meh. I ended up going with the ring, even though it's probably the worst item there. I'm not even using it. It was pretty much the lesser of three evils for me. Yeah, I started the week 181. Having the ring in my bag made me 182 on a technicality. So yeah, it's a good start to the week. Let's see where we go. With any reset, there are two things certain. Disappointing Great Vault and an equally unimpressive world boss. This week, it was Nurgash Muck formed. World bosses can be great because they drop item level 207 pieces, which is equal to the last two bosses of Castle Nathria normal, but lo and behold, all I got was Anima. In order to make myself feel better, I have decided to uninvite Nurgash for my birthday party. No goodie bag for you. I then spent a depressing amount of time doing Mists of Pandaria Timewalking. Part of the weekly Timewalking event, if you complete 5 Timewalking dungeons, you can get a piece of item level 200 armour from Castle Nathria. The loot from the dungeons themselves is irrelevant as it's only item level 158. You don't get to pick which item as it's completely randomised. I lucked out and upgraded my belt from 168 to 200 with a socket. This is a pretty big upgrade and took me to item level 184. Later in the week I finally found time and willpower to do LFR. This time I decided to start with the last 2 wings as both the last and the second to last boss drop gear item level 194. First off was Nathria and well, fucking conduit, I thought I got a weapon token. Next wing took us back to the start to kill Shriekwing. Shriekwing was kind enough to give me a pretty little cloak. Shit! Oh no, actually that's good. 185. Next up was my favourite, Sludge Fist. I managed to avoid murdering anyone with any chains and was rewarded with a whopping 70 anima. Final boss for this wing was Stone Legion Generals. While stood in front of it, it was at this point we realised that the leader had a particularly interesting tactic. Earquakes to the back! Regardless, we got it down and I got exactly nothing. Yay, we did it! After finishing the last 2 wings of LFR, I signed up for the others. Shortly after another fruitless boss kill, I decided LFR was stupid and I should probably go do something else. After about an hour spam applying to raids in the group finder, I finally managed to blag my way into a normal Castle Nathria run just because I was a Warlock. This is where my class choice started to really come into its own, bringing something to the raid that no one else can, such as summons and health zones, particularly summons, meant that I got into a group that I probably had no right being in. In order to validate my own existence, I spent most of my time doing Warlocky things. and after a couple of wipes, we killed Huntsman. And even though I didn't get a drop myself, a kind soul gave me an item level 200 neck with haste mastery. Probably one of the best items in the entire raid. We then proceeded on to the animus storage facilities beneath Castle Nathria, where we found ourselves getting the cleanest kill of Hungering Destroyer ever. No points if you guessed I wasn't going to get any drops. The group started to fall apart at this point, and we ended up spending about half an hour waiting to get people in. I was desperate to hold on to the group as I wasn't sure whether or not I'd be able to get into another run. Eventually we got the group back together and managed to one-shot Lady Minerva. Somehow. Sometime later we made it to Artificer, but the cracks we had seen after Hungering Destroyer became chasms as people started flaking off left and right. Once one of the tanks left, the leader decided they'd had enough. They passed me lead and they left. Not wanting to lead because frankly, herding cats in my own guild is bad enough, I also left. And thus ends our run at Castle Nathria Normal this week. I didn't manage to get into another group. Just didn't want an item level 186 Warlock. Important to remember, when you get knocked down, to pick yourself right back up again. So I headed off to the place that gave me pretty consistent gear drops. Mythic Zeros! This time around we were headed to the Necrotic Wake. It was a decent group, no one really said anything, but I had a good time. I also managed to snag a nice pair of wrists from the last boss, which took me up to 187 overall. That about wraps up for this week. I've made an infographic for all the activities I conducted this week that you'll see on your screen now. I only completed 1 Mythic Zero, 5 LFR bosses and 3 normal bosses in Castle Nathria. Gained a total of 6 item levels. I played for approximately 9 hours in total, including waiting, both in raids and in queues. I still have a grand total of 0 Raider.io score, and I estimate that I spent 65% of my time waiting in queues and 35% actually in activity. WoW is currently a waiting game, especially as a DPS. It's safe to assume that this is even worse for non-meta and non-Warlock DPS classes. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you did with a like or a comment, it really does help out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.